Therefore, based upon the totality of the evidence, my office cannot move forward in the prosecution of the charges filed against Mr. Scheffler. Mr. Scheffler's characterization that this was, quote, a big misunderstanding, close quote, is corroborated by the evidence. The evidence we reviewed supports the conclusion that Detective Gillis was concerned for public safety at the scene when he initiated contact with Mr. Scheffler. However, Mr. Scheffler's actions and the evidence surrounding their exchange during this misunderstanding do not satisfy the elements of any criminal offenses. For these reasons, Judge, I now tender to the court a motion in order to dismiss all these charges in this case against Mr. Scheffler with prejudice.
All right, again, all charges against Scottie Scheffler have been dropped in the matter regarding the incident on May 17th that took place. So let's take a look at how that day played out. Just after 6 a.m. on Friday, May 17th, Scottie Scheffler was arrested after he tried to steer around traffic congestion that was caused by a fatal crash an hour earlier that morning. At 6:01 a.m., Scottie Scheffler was detained by Louisville police. At 7:28 a.m., he was booked by Louisville Metropolitan Department of Corrections. 8:40, he was then released, and at 9:12 a.m., he arrived at Valhalla Golf Club to prepare for his second round of the PGA Championship, which he teed off at 10:08 a.m. Eastern Time. And at 3:29 p.m. Eastern Time, he completed his second round, shooting a 5-under 66. And with more on reaction to the news that we just heard, let's bring in Todd Lewis, who has been tracking this situation from the very beginning. Todd.
Yeah, not much of a surprise given the news that we were hearing coming out of the not only the prosecutor's office, but also Stephen Romines, who is the defense attorney in regards to this case for Scottie Scheffler. It was interesting that the attorney representing the prosecutor's office there said that he investigated this case, ended it on Friday, worked through the Memorial Day weekend, and then came to the conclusion that there was, quote, no probable cause in this issue. And secondly, that all the cases, or all the counts, I should say, will then be dismissed, and also agreed with what Scottie Scheffler and Mr. Romine said, that this was, quote, a big misunderstanding. Now, this looks like an incident where two people were just trying to do their job. The detective was on site due to that tragic fatality. He was investigating that. Scottie Scheffler was trying to do his job, get to the golf course as soon as he can. There was a traffic backup. He wanted to do his job, which, of course, was to perform in the PGA Championship. But this case being dismissed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be brought back to trial, is obviously a big win for Scottie Scheffler.
The statement Scottie Scheffler made describing this as a big misunderstanding was corroborated. And Rex, your reaction as well, and thoughts on what this means for Scottie Scheffler moving forward.
I think the interesting part there is what Todd just touched on. As we learned last year right here at the Canadian Open, with prejudice means that there will be no charges going forward, even if new evidence comes out. That's important to point out. I also want to point out the timing of this. As Todd pointed out, the prosecutor's office worked through the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, to get to this point where they were willing to drop the charges. It's important to point that out because Scottie was scheduled to be back in Louisville next Monday, the Monday of the Memorial, which he's scheduled to play for his arraignment hearing. So it was important he got that out of the way before he had to show up and start working again. And then I'm just going to go back to what Scottie said to both Todd and I during the PGA Championship and what he said last week at the Colonial. We've been talking about how Scottie's been able to compartmentalize this throughout the entire process. Certainly on Friday at the PGA Championship when he gets out of jail and goes on to shoot a 66. But there is a human element to this, and I think it was starting to take a toll on Scottie. Today's news is going to help with that, certainly.
Sure, it certainly will moving forward. Rex Hoggard, Todd Lewis, appreciate the insights as always.
Thank you.
And now on site at the U.S. Women's Open, I'm sitting alongside Brandel Chamblee. Brandel, we just had a chance to hear what the Jefferson County prosecutor had to say from Louisville, Kentucky. Your impressions, reactions to what has been quite an unfortunate saga over the last couple of weeks.
Seems to be long overdue, and the best case scenario for everybody involved. It's hard to know exactly what happened that morning without clear video, but what video has been put forth and has been coming out over the last couple of weeks seems to not mesh with the story that was put forth. Of course, again, we don't know exactly what happened before the car appeared on the other side of the bus that we saw in that video. But again, it appears like it doesn't mesh with the story. And for all parties involved, it seems to be the best case scenario for what was a very tragic day and then turned into one of the most bizarre days in the history of golf. And looking back on it, hugely disruptive to what was going to be an otherwise wonderful week.
Now, moving forward, Scottie Scheffler is not in the field this week at the RBC Canadian Open. How important do you think it is for him to, not only from just a mental health perspective, to just take a step back from all of this, what the situation has been, and to be able to move forward as he walks into a major at the U.S. Open with just a clear mind, clear heart?
Look, when everything's going your way and you're in the best possible frame of mind, major championships are taxing, let alone when you've come off a rather emotional high of he and Meredith, of course, having the birth of their first baby, and then going into a major championship and having something so unprecedented and so disruptive beset him. And then, of course, the fallout. No doubt, almost every single day would have been talking to his lawyer, worrying about if these charges were going to come to fruition, if he was going to have to return to Louisville, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll be good to see him when we do see him again at the next major championship, come in there hopefully rested, clear-eyed, and get back to taking care of business, which he has done so beautifully this year.
This was one of the more wild days that I've ever had as a professional covering the sport. Take us back to what that day was like from your perspective and trying to gather all of the information and just make sense of what was happening.
Well, again, you know, we were doing live from. We had obligations after live from. I got home late that night. Tried to sleep in that morning, but my phone just kept blowing up, blowing up. Finally got up, and it was hard to get, as you were on air, obviously with Sky, so I was trying to find out what you were reporting. I was online trying to get my arms around it, but the story was so bizarre because it was so hugely incongruous with what we know about Scottie Scheffler. If you were buying that he wasn't following directions or orders and sort of running a blockade, so to speak, was what it sounded like at first. Again, it was just hugely incongruous and bizarre and unprecedented. And as the day wore on, there was a sense that, well, wait a minute, this will all come clear when we see the body camera footage. Yay or nay, we'll have to wait. And of course, that night, we were meant to talk about it, but you couldn't really talk about it with any sort of clarity until you had seen the footage, which the body camera footage was not forthcoming. It didn't exist. So what footage we had was rather opaque and grainy, and you couldn't quite make it out. But again, it just didn't seem to mesh with the consistency of what we know to be true about Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, and it also unfortunately overshadowed the larger tragedy that happened that morning,
Yes.
which was the
Yes.
Unfortunate tragic passing of John Mills, who was struck by a shuttle bus on his way to work that day. He was working security for a vendor for the PGA Championship that week. So again, our thoughts and condolences to the Mills family. I think that is paramount. And the attorney, Stephen Romines, representing Scottie Scheffler in this matter, will be making a statement here momentarily. But in the meantime, we are looking forward to bringing you all of the storylines and all of the beautiful vistas from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and the U.S. Women's Open.